in Issaquah, Washington. Started 5 o'clock yesterday evening. By 5:30 a.m., that was the opening, the line went all the way around the building, and that didn't even include the people in the drive-thru. The store sold 1,000 donuts in the first hour.
That's how many I ate when I went there, I think.
Road
or
trip.
It felt like, anyway. We'll see you at 6. Nightly News is next.
Anthrax. Tonight, a new discovery, this time in the Midwest. And those 2 mystery cases. One woman in critical condition. How is the deadly germ spreading? Can it be stopped? The investigation. You've heard the new terror warnings, but what's behind it? NBC's Terrorism Task Force with the search for answers. Plus, do the warnings really work or just make matters worse? The Secretary. My interview with Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld on the strategy, the war, and what happens next. And the family. Lost and found. The secret mementos and treasures left behind after September 11th.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw.
Good evening. The anthrax attack continues to spread out tonight, and there are no signs that authorities are close to cracking the case of who's responsible for this unnerving and deadly assault on a wide variety of locations now and citizens. Tonight, there is word of a New York hospital worker with a case of inhaled anthrax. New Jersey officials confirmed another case of inhaled anthrax, which has been treated successfully. And in the Postal Service and Washington, D.C., the extent of the contamination and the cost of cleaning it up is staggering. We'll begin tonight with NBC Chief Science Correspondent Robert Bazell.
Tom, officials tell NBC News they have found spores at a postal repair facility in Indianapolis. That's the first anthrax outside the East Coast. Meanwhile, a confirmed case of inhalation anthrax in a New Jersey postal worker, and the inhalation case in a woman who works in this hospital, raising ominous new possibilities. Manhattan Eye, Ear, and Throat Hospital was closed today as health workers tested more than 700 employees, visitors, and patients for anthrax exposure and took environmental samples throughout the building. The victim, a 61-year-old stockroom worker, remains in a nearby intensive care hospital with the deadly inhalation form of the disease.
She's on a respirator, and her description of her condition is that it's very, very serious.
Because anthrax is not contagious, investigators do not believe the woman got it from a patient or a medical worker. She did occasionally handle mail, but so far, all the environmental testing of the hospital has come back negative.
We don't know that she contracted it within this facility.
How did she get it? The woman is not able to speak now.
We're interviewing a large number of people who know her, work with her, are friends with her, and can provide us with information about her habits.
With that information, investigators are retracing her steps to her home, post offices she visited, even the streets and subways. But so far, no clue.
This thing is evolving, you know, we're all concerned about it.
The other surprising case? The woman who got skin anthrax at her accounting office in this building in New Jersey. The best guess? It came with mail sent through the nearby postal facility known to be contaminated. Does that mean everyone's mail might be dangerous?
Up to yesterday, there was no evidence at all that there could be or is an individual in which there might be the reasonable question, did they get infected from a piece of mail that went to their home?
With at least one case, it seems possible. Also today, investigators finding spores at more post offices in Washington and the mailroom of a USDA facility. But the Indianapolis site is the most troubling. It repairs machines for the contaminated Brentwood facility in Washington, D.C. So that's the likely source of the spores. But it shows how easy the contamination can spread. Tom?
NBC's Robert Bazell tonight. Thanks very much. Now to the terror warning the Attorney General announced last night. The Bush administration says tonight it was both the quality and the quantity of the intelligence information that led to the warning that fresh terror attacks could come this week. NBC's Pete Williams from our Terrorism Task Force joins me now. Pete?
Tom, good evening. Officials say they issued that warning after getting intelligence from several sources, human and electronic, including reports of the movements of al-Qaeda terrorists overseas. And Canada tonight says it contributed intelligence information. Already on a high state of alert, the nation's federal, state, and local police do what they can today to add an extra level of vigilance. The FAA further restricts airspace around some 70 nuclear power plants and more than a dozen other sensitive sites, including government laboratories. In Los Angeles, police urge to reassess security at 300 sites considered possible targets.
All the things we're doing is for their safety and the precaution to ensure that this is the safest that we can humanly make it possible.
In Chicago, tighter checks of cars around the huge Sears Tower. The director of Homeland Security says the new threat warning is based on intelligence from U.S. and foreign agencies who monitor sources believed to have connections to the terrorists.
I think you can fairly assume that the experts view this tied in, this information somehow related to Al-Qaeda or bin Laden, else we wouldn't have ramped it up.
The actual text of the warning sent to law enforcement agencies, obtained by NBC News, says the attacks could come over the next week. An FBI counterterrorism official tells Congress today that the federal government hopes to create a deterrent effect.
To make sure that everything maintains an elevation at the highest peak of preparedness. If we can do that, then hopefully we can disrupt any plans that are in process.
Who would carry out such an attack? Law enforcement officials say they now believe they've accounted for the movements of the 19 hijackers, and with over 1,000 people rounded up in the nationwide sweep since September 11th, federal agents say they've detained a handful of suspected Al-Qaeda members who played no part in the hijackings. The FBI is still looking. The government's latest watch list sent to U.S. airlines, obtained by NBC News, includes the name George Merej, thought to be an alias for an Al-Qaeda member. The document says investigators believe he recently entered the United States. And tonight, the Transportation Secretary proposes a zero-tolerance response to lapses in airline security, instructing federal agents to rescreen passengers or even shut down gates and concourses if necessary. Tom?
Thanks very much, NBC's Pete Williams tonight. So what value do the government terror warnings have, especially when they contain such few specifics? Do they help or just add to the anxiety? NBC's Andrea Mitchell tonight looks at the pros and cons.
As World Series fans undergo extraordinary security at Yankee Stadium tonight, a mixed message to Americans. Be on alert, but get back to normal. Even the White House seems in conflict. The president in public watching the ball game in New York. The vice president is whisked away again to a secret location. So how useful is a terror warning with no specifics?
We just share it with America, as incomplete as it might be.
But how can Americans get back to normal when the government says terrorists could strike at any time or place?
And I think the American public really wants some sense of what's coming next, of what they can do to try and help prevent it. And we need to allay fears, not to try and exacerbate them.
People are scared, especially parents on Halloween Eve.
I usually go trick-or-treat with the kids and take them in the neighborhood. But with the situations that's going on now, I feel it's safer. We just give a party, invite all the kids to the house.
Going out door to door, I think it's going to be put behind on a back burner now.
Psychologists say people can handle the stress.
We need to learn that our world is not as safe as we used to think it was. We were mistaken back then. And that we are capable as healthy humans of living with anxiety.
And some local sheriffs welcome the alert, even if it's vague.
What, may be coming this time, we hope nothing, that it is a false alarm. But just in case that there is, you would hate to think that you had some information and you sat on it and it was in a file.
Officials say it's a fine line, but the warnings are important, no matter how frightening, because the last one may have prevented an attack. Andrea Mitchell, NBC News, Washington.
Now to the war in Afghanistan. The Pentagon today finally acknowledged one of the worst-kept secrets of the past few weeks. 2 U.S. Special Forces units are on the ground with the rebels in northern Afghanistan. They're collecting intelligence, selecting targets for U.S. bombing runs, and advising Northern Alliance troops who are said to be preparing for a major assault on the city of Mazar al-Sharif, perhaps within the next 48 hours. Today, I sat down with the Secretary of Defense, Donald Rumsfeld, and talked about the war and the perception of how it's going. Mr. Secretary, here at home, there's a new terrorist alert. The stock market is way down today. Americans are not very confident about what's going on either here at home or in the war. Isn't there an urgent need for some kind of conspicuous military victory in Afghanistan?
Oh, goodness. We have a plan. It's in place. It's working. And it seems to me that the idea of some urgent need for a quick, visible victory is really not the way the world works. 2 of the most prominent conservative voices in Washington, D.C., William Kristol and Charles Krauthammer, are in
the Washington Post today, saying the war is not going well. Isn't that the beginning of an unraveling of the political coalition here at home if these conservatives are saying that as publicly as they are?
Well, I don't know. I think not. My impression is that we do have a good plan in place, that it's working, that we're making progress. I understand people's appetite and desire for instant success and instant gratification.
Military analysts that I've talked to said that we really won't be successful there until we, the United States, puts in a division-sized force, seize an airport, make that the base of operations somewhere in Afghanistan, probably in the south would be the first place to do that.
Of course, there's military experts who are on every side of these issues, and you cite one, but for every one you cite like that, there are some who have another opinion. That is a perfectly legitimate position that you've outlined. It is certainly something that people consider and discuss and has happened in other venues.
On October 16th in this building, a general gave a briefing and said the combat power of the Taliban had been eviscerated. Plainly, it has not been eviscerated. But are you saying today that we'll continue the bombing plan that we have in place, that there won't be any great alteration of that, and that we are on track to do what you think is necessary?
He wishes he had not said that. I would not have said that. He may very well have been referring to in a specific location for a specific purpose. It has now been repeated over and over and over again. There's no question but that the Taliban and the Al-Qaeda still have substantial forces, and they are arrayed against the opposition forces on the ground.
But isn't it quite clear to you at this point that this war will not be won in Afghanistan until you get troops on the ground, and that will involve substantial numbers of American troops?
I've forgotten when this started, but it was, several weeks ago, 21 days, 22 days ago. And now in 21 days, people with questions like that are suggesting that there should be some magic. There is no magic. We said there's no silver bullet. We know there's no silver bullet. This is hard, dirty work. And people are going to get killed, and we're going to work hard at it, and we're going to win.
After the interview, Secretary Rumsfeld walked me through his office, which now includes a piece of the hijacked airliner that crashed into the Pentagon September 11th. It's a twisted reminder of the day that launched a war. Up next, NBC News in depth. More on trying to make the mail safe. Dramatic new efforts to protect all Americans against bioterrorism.
I'm every man.
And every woman who ever suffered from frequent, persistent heartburn.
If you've treated your heartburn and changed your diet, but it comes back 2 or more days a week, then you may know about the burning pain of acid reflux disease.
But there's something about acid reflux that I didn't know.
Over time, that acid churning up can wear away the lining of your esophagus.
I didn't know.
I didn't know.
I didn't.
But today, there's a purple pill called Nexium. It's from the makers of Prilosec. Just 1 prescription Nexium a day gives many people complete resolution of heartburn symptoms.
That could mean complete heartburn relief.
And importantly, Nexium is also proven to heal erosions in the esophagus caused by acid reflux. Only a doctor can determine if you have this damage. Other serious stomach conditions may still exist. The most common side effects of Nexium and Prilosec are headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. So talk to your doctor and call this number for more information and for a free trial certificate for Nexium.
Relieve the heartburn, heal the damage. It's possible with today's purple pill called Nexium.
When I started having hot flashes and night sweats at menopause, my doctor recommended hormone replacement therapy, but I didn't listen.
Up to 20% of a woman's expected lifetime bone loss occurs in the years following menopause.
A year later, I went back to my doctor and found I'd shrunk an inch. I went on HRT, and I've been on it for years. My hot flashes and night sweats, gone. I feel great.
HRT is not for all women. Talk to your doctor about the benefits and risks.
The time to protect your future is now.
Must have folded my millionth sweater. I'm starving.
Want some chicken and stars?
And then soup? That's for the kiddie section. We're big girls now. There's a better tasting soup. Progresso chicken noodle. Tender pieces of all white meat chicken with bigger slices of vegetables. And just the right seasonings. See the difference?
Oh, you're right. This tastes better.
Now about those Mary Janes.
It's time to go to the better taste, the Progresso. On an all-new Dateline Tuesday.
Okay, we are recording, and you are live, dude.
Hard to believe.
I love
Hugs are family fun.
Getting high and doing it all on tape.
Yeah.
You won't believe what we uncovered, and it's happening all across America. A Dateline investigation tonight on NBC.
NBC News in depth tonight, making sure the mail is safe for postal workers and customers. The Postmaster General was on Capitol Hill today answering tough questions and asking for billions of dollars to get the job done. In depth tonight, here's NBC's Robert Hager.
As traces of anthrax caused 2 more post offices in Washington to temporarily shut. And there's also talk of keeping the Hart Senate office building closed another 2 weeks for fumigation. Today, the post office details its several billion-dollar plan to sanitize or irradiate the mail. Only bulk mail, magazines and so on, pre-sorted by companies with approved security, would be permitted to skip sanitizing. Everything else dropped in mailboxes or dropped through the slots at post office lobbies would go right to postal distribution centers for treatment, according to the Postmaster General today.
The goal of the Postal Service is to assure that all mail is safe.
Truckloads of government mail are already being sent for irradiation at one facility in Ohio that normally sanitizes food and medical equipment. 8 more devices have been ordered from the Titan Corporation of San Diego.
We have taken systems that were scheduled to go to other customers and are redirecting those to the U.S. Postal Service. So those 8 we are in the process of delivering as we speak.
But hundreds more will have to be built.
We've entered into discussions with the 2 major companies that we're aware of in the U.S. That make this type of equipment, and looking to see what they can do to ramp up their manufacturing capabilities.
Meantime, the post office is also looking into anthrax sensors, like this shown today by a Seattle company called Genelex. But all this will cost, from a postal service already $11 billion in debt and trying not to raise stamp prices higher than a requested 37 cents. Instead, counting on Congress for the extra billions to restore public confidence and protect workers, like Denise Manley from Washington's Brentwood facility, where 2 have died.
The employees are just very scared. They don't know who might be next or what might happen.
Nor do officials know how much wider the poisoning will spread or how much longer it'll go on. Robert Hager, NBC News, Washington.
Up next, a shakeup at the top of Ford. Why now, and what it could mean if you're in the market for a new car.
Why do I eat?
Why do I eat Healthy Choice Beef Tips Portobello? Because it has big, tender chunks of beef.
Because it tastes great.
Did I mention it tastes great?
Because my body needs balanced nutrition. Why do I eat Healthy Choice?
Beef Tips Portobello.
It helps me do the things I like to do. That's why.
After the 270 horsepower Chevy Trailblazer, everything else just seems kind of weak. The all-new Chevy Trailblazer, like a rock.
When that pastrami on rye catches up with me, heartburn big time. My passenger says, here, take a Zantac 75. I say, what are you, a doctor? And he says, yeah.
Zantac 75, the heartburn relief doctors trust. Tired of struggling down glass after glass of powdered fiber for regularity? Consider refreshing glasses of water with FiberCon tablets, a whole lot easier to take.
And every bit as effective as powder.
FiberCon, refreshingly easier to take.
This scene was filmed using an extraordinary lip color, Max Factor's Lipfinity. A new, long-lasting system with permatone. First paint, then polish. While most lipsticks melt away, Lipfinity is semi-permanent. It lasts and lasts through almost anything.
After 8 hours of filming, I can vouch for that.
New Lipfinity from Max Factor, the makeup of makeup artists.
Heartburn? Give me a cold one.
Introducing Tums Cool Relief with unique Friva crystals. It gives you an immediate cooling, soothing sensation in your mouth and throat. You can feel the chill while it knocks out heartburn fast.
I could really use a cold one.
New Tums Cool Relief with calcium. Feel the difference.
Tomorrow morning on Today, the boys and ghouls come out to play. It's Halloween, so everyone say trick or treat and have some fun.
How safe is our food from a terrorist attack? NBC Nightly News tomorrow. The economy tonight, as we mentioned earlier, it was a rough day on Wall Street. One reason, a new report shows that consumer confidence at its lowest point in 7.5 years. As a result, the Dow closed down almost 148 points. NASDAQ was down 32 points on the day. The Ford Motor Company tonight is hoping the family name at the top can help get sales moving again. And as NBC's national correspondent Jim Avila reports now, all the big car makers are hoping to ride out the economic slump with offers they hope consumers will find too good to refuse.
0% financing, jump-starting car sales in an otherwise faltering economy.
It's an eye catcher. It definitely gets me thinking of a new car.
Evan Bartlett, one of the record number of Americans buying cars this month. Experts predict the biggest October in history, 1.5 million vehicle month. But not one of the country's big three automakers is making money. And Ford's market share dropped 4 points this year, from 28% to 24%. The stock price plummeting too, from a 52-week high of $31 to today's $16. Enough trouble that today America's second-largest automaker forced out its high-profile chief executive, Jack the Knife Nasser.
This is the law of the jungle, survival of the fittest time. And if you look at it from a customer's perspective, this is a wonderful period.
Nasser, a visionary who earned that nickname performing surgeries on troubled companies, was hired to change Ford. Instead, dealers and eventually his bosses and employees accused him of losing focus on building quality Fords.
At times, I think he took basically his eye off the ball. The basics of the automobile business is selling new cars and new trucks.
And now with a fourth-generation Ford heading the company, William Clay.
We must have laser-like focus. We will continue to concentrate our resources on our core business.
Besides the Firestone tire controversy, Ford had 26 separate recalls this year. Nearly 5 million cars sent back to the dealer. An industry now forced to sell by using 0% financing.
They've shocked the consumer back to life, but it's going to take a while before the business looks as healthy as it did earlier this decade.
A time when domestic automakers showed average profits of $350 per vehicle, compared to today, when the average 0% sale means a $100 loss. Jim Avila, NBC News, Chicago.
And a surprising announcement tonight that in one area, business may be too good. The American Red Cross said it is stopping its appeals for donations to a fund created to help victims of the September 11th terrorist attacks. The Liberty Fund has already collected $547 million in pledges. Red Cross Director Bernadine Healy stepped down last week under pressure, in part because of controversy over how those donations might be used. When we come back, some of the most mundane possessions become the most precious when they were left behind by victims of the World Trade Center attacks.
One day began a long time ago.
He has been fun for 51 years.
Our dream has been to see the world together. We started planning years ago. We're so busy doing so many things, and I don't think they'll ever slow down.
It's never too late to start planning. GE can help you plan now. Call a representative or 1-800-THINK-GE.
One day I'm going to take it easy, but right now I'm having too much fun.
Invest, protect, retire with a name you trust. GE for life.
Abner, we're rich.
We're rich?
It's our new litter. It's got diamonds in it.
You are mistaken, my friends. The diamonds are odor-absorbing crystals in new Tidy Cats Crystals Blend.
Whatever.
New Tidy Cats Crystals Blend.
Mom, how many Tums did you take right in front of the wedding planner?
You snuck one, too.
It was a Pepsid Complete.
Is that the same as Pepsid AC?
No, there's nothing else like Pepsid Complete. It works fast like Tums, but it lasts for hours like Pepsid AC. So your heartburn goes away and then stays away.
Chewable? Calcium? I gotta try this.
Decision?
Tony, fabulous.
Pepsid Complete. Just one and heartburn's done.
Have you tried the anchovy cookies?
Oh, yeah.
And the jalapeno dip?
This weekend, Enterprise Rent-A-Car announces special low rates from just $9.99 a day. Friday till Monday from just $9.99 a day. Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
1-800-RENT-A-CAR.
Neil would say Portland Public Schools banned military recruiters, but that was before the attack on America.
Why military recruiters may soon find their way back.
A judge took the coho salmon off the endangered species list. Now an urgent push by environmental groups to delay the ruling. Tonight at 6 on News Channel 8, where the news comes first.
In February, Utah will resonate with the sounds of Olympic competition. Until then, it's all yours. Utah, official playground before, during, and after the 2002 Olympic Winter Games.
How does the Northwest spell country?
98.7 KUPL.
Maybe right this time. Tim McGraw, Colin Ray, Faith Hill.
KUPL makes a bad day go good.
Lee and Susan in the Waking Crew, they crack me up. What a great way to start the day.
I spell country, KUPL.
The Northwest spells country.
The family tonight. We've heard so much about what was lost on September 11th, but there are also some astonishing discoveries as well. More now from NBC's Roger O'Neill.
Out of the rubble, the secrets of those lost, uncovered by family and friends in journals, closets, boxes of stuff, mementos that had become irreplaceable treasures. From the secret paintings of the budding artist,
her spirit is in our artwork,
to the stash of tuna fish and cologne the pack rat hid in his basement.
5 bottles of Stetson. Who knew why?
And there's the story of this antique necklace, a present for Mom bought before 9/11, found in a sock drawer.
I wear it every day.
Cemeteries have always been the emotional link to the dead, a peaceful place to go to remember. Robbed of that, grief recovery experts say the mementos relatives are now finding will become powerful substitutes to the stone and granite pillars of the graveyard. Uncovering secrets of those gone, says author Russell Friedman, is an important part of grieving.
We all naturally and unconsciously review a relationship and find all the pieces, all the emotionally important things, and the addition of another piece, positive or negative, can help complete the puzzle.
Imagine Blanche Sheen's surprise when she found a 500-page manuscript written by her son Eric, his first novel.
I knew he loved to write, but not this much, that he had such talent that I didn't know about.
No one knew about Carrie Progen's talent either. She was a budding artist who loved New York for its diversity. A Man on a Subway was one of her favorite sketches.
Every piece of art that she had didn't exist until she created it, and that's adding to the world.
After 32 years of marriage, Joanne Heritzak was sure she knew all the puzzle pieces of Marty. Her husband was a saver. She just didn't know how much.
8 tubes of Pepsodent toothpaste. The man didn't have a whole full set of teeth in his mouth.
Shirts, watches, socks, Marty's stuff.
The things that are treasures to him will give us comfort now. We could laugh at him because we're tired of crying.
While the tears are never far away for the families, the secrets they are uncovering about their loved ones help define their memories. And that, they say, is comforting. Roger O'Neill, NBC News, Denver.
That's Nightly News for Tuesday. Don't forget Dayline tonight at 10/9 Central Time. It's a rare look inside the world of ecstasy, home movie shot by college students who are using today's most popular drug everywhere in America. I'm Tom Brokaw. I'll see you back here tomorrow night.
Nightly News is a presentation of NBC News. More Americans watch NBC News than any other news organization.
Sources were credible because of their connections with the terrorists that we're trying to fight.
The Homeland Security Chief defends yesterday's decision to issue a terrorism alert. How are police here responding? Plus,
7 years ago, the Portland School Board banned military recruiters from schools. Now the federal government may reverse that decision. I'm John Flick. That story is coming.